In The Last Jedi, Poe Dameron expertly flies his X-Wing against the First Order, but it's not a white X-Wing, it is a black and orange X-Wing, and it looks amazing. Today, I'm going to show you how to build your own one in Minecraft. Don't you go anywhere at all. It's Last Jedi time in Minecraft. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, depending on what time you're watching this next episode from me, Avomance, and today we're going to do kind of a repeat of something that we did a long time ago, but it's really now very recent. Just literally in the last couple of weeks, the brand new Star Wars film, The Last Jedi, was released, and I thought it would be really good fun to try and build, and I do mean try, because I'm not really planning this very well, I do mean try, we're going to try and build Poe's X-Wing fighter. You know, the black one with the orange on it. It looks absolutely awesome. Superb thing. And we're going to try and build that in the skies up here. All the way up here, we're going to have a go to see whether or not we can't build it. So, shall we have a go now? I think I should stop rambling. Let's crack on. Now, you've got some options for this build. I'm using wool, but you don't have to. You need a good black block. I've got black wool. You could use coal. You could use concrete. You could use terracotta. Remember, black is really hard to see when you are building. You need an orange block as well. Again, I'm using orange wool. I've got a block of iron, red stained glass, some standard glass, some grey normal clay, some glowstone, some cobblestone wool, white wool, pink wool, and a block to tower up with. I've got dirt simply because that's dead easy to find in survival. Yes, you could do this in survival fairly easily. Let's get on with it. So first up, get yourself towered up. I've used dirt just because it's dead easy to remove if you're in survival. And you want to get yourself some black wool. I'm going to make this build in wool simply because it means I can see the kind of the differentiation between the blocks relatively simple, because when you're working in black it's actually very hard to do that. But we're going to use black wool here, and we're going to come basically a row of 25 black wool. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Help you again? Yes.
And 25, and then make it a double row just like this.
Don't get technical with me.
Now you can see here we've got a texture to this black, which isn't really what we're after. I grant you. Now, you could use black terracotta, which would have less of a texture, but I find it actually really hard to be able to work with black terracotta because the seams are so difficult to see. And black concrete, forget it, it's just one solid block. But you could do it in black concrete and it would look extremely effective. So we've got to do this in a relatively big scale because we don't have half blocks in wool. By the way, Minecraft would be a really good idea, Mojang, get that one on there. But so we've got to basically try and make the nose area out of full blocks, which isn't perfect, so it's going to be quite blocky, but we are in Minecraft and blocky is what we're all about. So we're going to get 3 on the top of that, just like that, and we're going to leave 2, and then leave 2, and then we're going to come in there and we're going to fill in 4 blocks like that. So we've got basically it's beginning to become a nose, and we need 2. I've not come out far enough, so that's 5 blocks there. Then get some orange wool, and we're going to come out 2 blocks of orange wool right there, but leave that gap black. That's really important that gap is black, because under here we're going to come out with another row of orange, and that row of orange is basically going to come all the way down the side of the X-Wing. There, and there. So this is the start of it. You can see we're building up the blackness and the orangeness. Now we're going to pull this out a little bit further yet, so don't worry, it's not quite there, but this is going to be a relatively large build because we need it for the scale. Now you can see that Poe's X-Wing has got a really sleek nose. Again, I've said we're going to struggle to get sleek using these blocks, so what we are going to do, however, is we're going to come out like this, and we're going to start to build just a little bit further out with these blocks. We come out another 2. So you can see it's not exactly what I would call sleek, but at least we are getting there. And then underneath here, 1 block in from the orange, we're going to come up. And what we're trying to achieve there is sort of a slightly pointy look. I wish we had wall stairs. Again, Mojang, wall stairs, that would be really cool. In terms of building blocks, that would be really useful. So then we're going to undermine all of that orange with another row of black, you can see there. And we're starting to get the form and function of this nose just a little bit more, and we're just going to continue this out another few blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then we're going to get this one here like this. Where's my black? There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So you can see that is starting to get quite nice as a nose, I think. What I do want to do is come in a little bit further with this, like that. Yep, that's looking good. And we're going to come out, I think we're actually going to come out a little bit further with this black wall here as well, because I don't think we've come out quite far enough. So I'm going to come out there, there and there, and 2 more blocks there, come down, and it's sort of ever so slightly pointy. I think we might just put 1 more there. You have to start doing this by eye a little bit more. You can see we've got the underside is slightly more curved because this block is coming out 1 more to give a visual that it is slightly sleeker and flatter at the top. If you go back, you can start to see a little bit better that that underside is more curved than the top, which is a little flatter. So the block count so far is we've got 1, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see there, yeah. And then here we've got another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll get rid of those. And then here we've just got 2 blocks. And here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we're going to get rid of those. So you can see we had 4, 5, 2, and 10. That dimensions so far. Oh look, I've actually removed the wrong block there. And here we're going to come out 1 block. So on that last one, we're going to make this slightly wider because we need to start bulking out this X-Wing just a little bit more. And we're going to come out another 1, another 1, and another 1. So you can see we've got it ever so slightly wider there. And then here, we're going to leave that gap of 2. You can see here we've got the gap of 2 there. And we're going to get some glass. And we're just to mark it out, we're going to put glass there, there, there and there, and that's going to become the control panel in here for the start of the cockpit. So we're going to bring a cockpit up like that, and that is the beginnings of the cockpit. So we've marked that out really quite nicely. So on the side here we need to come out a little bit further with a little bit more black. So we're going to come out, the cockpit isn't quite as wide as the vehicle, although it is very close. It's only 1 row. So we're going to come out to the very last block there, the 25th block, with 1 more row of black like that, and this is going to form the area that the cockpit is going to take in. So here we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. So it makes a row of 5 glass. This is going to come up like that to leave that gap there, and then we're going to get another row exactly the same on this side like that. So that leaves that gap like that, and then we're going to come in 1 more like that, and we're going to come back like that, like that. So there we've got kind of the cockpit area that we will fill out in a moment, but we've got a little bit more work to do because at the back of the cockpit we need to put another row of black literally on the back of all of these glass blocks and the edge, which gives us the cockpit. You know what I think? I think that should be more like that. I think that's slightly better and gives us again a more sleek look. It's all about trying to get this as aerodynamic as possible, which whilst it's flying through the air, not in space but through the air, it means it's got less resistance, and that's what we're trying to achieve. And then under here we're going to get our orange block, and the orange wall has to follow out the way that the black wall does. So the black wall here, you can see we've got up like that, and we're going to follow that all the way around there and out like that. And then the orange wall has got to follow the same pattern, because the orange wall doesn't actually, if you look at a picture of the X-Wing, the orange wall doesn't come out wider than the black. It stays exactly the same width as the black. So again, on the underside, we're going to do all the way along. We're nearly there. Oh, that's so close. There we go. So we've got kind of the orange line that runs all the way along to the side of the cockpit, and then continues the entire width of the cockpit with the black and the orange like this. Orange like that. Doesn't come out further, and black underneath as a last row all the way along like that. So again, if we look at this from a distance, you can start to see the form of the front of the X-Wing taking shape. So we have repeated on the other side there, you can see. So both sides have got the same orange stripe with black. And we're going to just start to create the area behind the cockpit. So we just want to come across this way, because what we're going to do is we're going to create an area that the droid sits in, the BB-8 sits in. So we're going to come back and back like that, and just basically form a little opening the BB-8 droid is going to be sitting in. And we want to come out and build not just the bit where the BB-8 sits, but also the bit where the kind of the engine compartment is going to sit. You've got a section at the back here that is the same width. So we're going to put another 2 on like that, but let's block this off like that. But it's got slightly larger. So you've got 2 there for the BB-8, and then you've got 1, 2, 3 for where the engine compartment is going to be. And for that engine compartment, we just want to come down 1, because we want to give it a bit of depth in a minute, like that. This is all structuring right now, exactly like that. And the same on the other side, like that, and around the back like that. So we've created a stepped compartment. That's where the BB-8 droid is going to go. That's where the engine-y bit is going to go, and we'll be doing that in a bit, because what we've got to do first is we've got to build out the side of the X-Wing. And the way that's going to work is we basically need to just carry on with the actual build itself. So we're going to come along the side like that. We're going to do the same on the other side. We're going to come 1 and then 1 up, then 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see we've got it exactly the same on both sides there. And then we repeat the process all the way along the back of this. Now, part of these sides are not going to be seen, because we've got to put the fairly important part of the X-Wing, which are the wings, onto the side of these. But not yet. We need to get the structure first. That's going to be orange. So let's get the orange stripe like that, because the orange stripe continues even though it's going to be covered up by the wing. We get this here, and we just finish off this bottom bit, and we're going to detail it off in a minute, but we want to keep it open so as we can access the inside. So you can see we've got a fairly long body for an X-Wing, and we'll be starting the actual wing section around about this area here in just a moment. I was looking at the X-Wing from a distance, and I've decided that the nose just isn't quite long enough. I want it to come out just a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out 1, 2, 3 and 4 more blocks. And what that means we're going to have to do here is come out 1 block there on the top, and then to keep that so as it's slightly further out, we're going to come out 1 block on the bottom. Now for me, that makes that nose ever so slightly longer and gives it just a slightly better shape. It's a personal thing, but I think it works much better. And then we have to start building out slightly higher on the underside even further. So we're going to come out just before the jut. We're going to come out 1, 2, oops, not on top of each other, just 1 deep, and we're going to come out following the shape of the X-Wing. 1 in though, so that comes in. That's going to give an ever so slight kind of border edge. You can see there you've got a little kind of jutty in bit, and then we're going to follow that along to the end and then come out so as we're there like that. So you can see again we're creating a stepped effect on the underbelly there, and that comes all the way along. It's really difficult to see this black wool. It would be so much easier if his stuff was white or yellow or goodness only knows what other colour. I don't care. The black is really, really, really difficult. Then we're going to start to build out the back. Now the back doesn't taper very much. We're literally just going to taper it in 1 block and come out 2 blocks like this. Stripe it up like that. And next one's going to be orange. And then, but then black. So like that you can see, and the rest is black. We're going to probably replace some of this in just a bit, but we just want to get it so as it is in place now. All the way up, and then we're going to keep that so as it's exactly like that. So you can see the shape we've achieved now. That is more or less the body of the X-Wing. Still got a little bit of work to do on it, but it's more or less the body of the X-Wing, and we need to start thinking about what's going on inside the X-Wing. We're all hollow here now. Look, we can see the cockpit, and what we want to do is we want to get a working area, because we're going to be closing this off very, very shortly, and we want it to be a working area. So we've got to basically put the cockpit area there. The pilot, Poe, is going to be wearing orange. So we're going to give a 2 blocks of orange there just to signify the pilot. Now we can't do much more than that, unfortunately, with regards to the pilot. So this is a Poe without a head. We can't put a head on him unless, of course, you want to put 1 pink block like that to one side there. So it's like he's leaning out. So let's see what that looks like from the outside, because I'm not entirely sure that's going to look right. So is he? So I'll tell you what, I'm going to leave that like that. I'm going to leave that like that because that isn't too bad. The alternative, of course, is you could put a villager in there and just trap him in. Literally just trap the villager in, and that'll be quite funny. And the villager can be Poe. So we're just going to fill in the bottom of this a little bit first. I'm just pulling back to that point. So you can see we've partially blocked that up like that. So there's our cockpit, which is great. And then we are going to finish up and just block this all off, because we don't need to actually put anything in this at all. Now if you want, you could put some light in here if you really wanted to. It will show from the outside, obviously, if you do that, because wool can shine through some light a little bit like wood can. You can see it through the wall. But if you want to put a little bit of light in there just to avoid any nasties from spawning inside, because you will get nasties spawning in here if it is dark, and that's obviously not what you want. So just fill in the rest of these bits like that, and you should have a blocked in base. So that's great. So now what we're going to do up at the top here, we're going to create the BB-8 droid unit. And again, we've got a fairly limited amount of flexibility because of the block. So you have to use your imagination here. We're going to have a BB-8 unit that basically does that. They're slightly leaning over, this BB-8, like that. You can see. Oh, didn't mean to put those in there. And then in here, we're going to put some engine plate kind of bits and pieces. So we're going to put 2 bits of grey in there, and then I'm going to get some wool, because the wool kind of makes it look a little bit like there's kind of pistons and things like that going on. So it gives a little bit of depth, but also makes it look quite interesting. And if you wanted to, you could put a wall there as well, just to make it more engine-like. I think that looks pretty good, and that can signify the droid, which is that shape, and the engine. Now if you wanted to, of course, you could be making this ever so slightly wider. I don't think, personally, having played with it a little bit, it works. I think it's better to have these things leaning over to one side rather than being, I don't know, a ring of 9 with a single block in the middle. It's just a personal opinion, but I think I'm right. And what can I tell you? If I think I'm right, then it must be true. So what we're going to do now is we're going to bring out this back just 1 more block, like that, and that is the entirety of the body of the ship. So now we're going to do what's probably the hardest bit of the entire build now. So it's going to go with right on the edge of here. You can see where it steps in. We come up to the wider bit and go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I know, we have filled over that orange block. It doesn't matter. It was just a guide, for goodness sake. And then we're going to get the block of iron. And the block of iron is there because it is a good colour for this particular function. And we're going to come out just on that first front bit like that, yeah, just exactly like that. Because we can't make the X-wing an X shape, which is a bit of a shame, it's got to be in its closed position for this particular build, but we're going to go up to, and then we're going to come in, and then we're going to go across to, then we're going to come down, and then we're going to come like that. So you can see we're starting to build a circle-y shape, and then we come like that, and down once more, across 2, and that is like that. So you can see we've got a circle shape there, which is basically the inside of our engine. And then what we're going to do here is behind it, we're going to put a block of black wool, or black, whatever it is, the black that you're using, behind it like that. So that's the kind of the black edging. And then we need to come out ever so slightly further on this side. So imagine you're coming out just 1 on each of them, but make sure you do it on both the block that's there and the block that's on the outside of it, like that. So that's there, that comes down, that comes down, that comes down, that comes down there, and there. So you can see we've got looking at it from the front, you can see it comes out proud all the way around, and also not there, also there. So it comes proud all the way around that engine, and then we're going to get an orange block, and we're going to ring just on the outside of each of these, like that. Whoop, I can't even get there. There we go. On the outside of each of these. That doesn't matter. Sorry, that should be black there. Look, there we go. Orange, Avo. Do you know the difference between orange and iron? There we go. So that's that, and I've got what's not quite gone right there. So I need to look. That needs to be the orange there, doesn't it? And that's right, because that then lines up with the back. That's what I was trying to do. See, I am not going mad. I did get it right. And then we're coming out again behind that orange with another black one. Round and round. So you've got that shape like that. And then you just come back another 3. Like 1, 2, and 3. So you can see we've got the depth of the engine there is going to be like that. And then just complete that entire circle and repeat it on the other side. So we have now got a symmetrical X-Wing, both engines on each side completely the same. You can see looking at it from the top like that. And in the front of these engines we have put more of that grey clay just to fill it out, because that front is relatively flat. If you look at the actual machine, the actual spaceship, it's not like it goes in a long way. You need to block it off. It's got a front. It's a bit like a jet engine. And at the back, we'll do something else in a minute. But what we need to do now is we need to create the wing. Now, when this splits, it does split with 2 wings. Obviously, it's an X-Wing, but we don't want to have it too thick. So what we're going to do is we're going to come just on the top row there, from the orange all the way to the back. And we'll do the same on the other side in a moment, just with 1 black bit. And then we're going to get orange. The orange bit is kind of integral to this particular build. So, and then we're going to put 4 and leave that first black bit open. And then we're going to go 4 again. And then we're going to go 4 again. Then we're going to go 3. And then again 3. And you can see we're starting to build out a wing shape like that. Then we're going to go 3 again, and again, and again. Not on top like that. So we've got that sort of shape there. You can see it's starting to come out with a decent amount of length. I'm actually going to pop 1 there because I don't think we've got enough. Then we're going to come another 3. Then we're going to get 2, 2, 2, and 2. You can see the wing comes out a okay distance. It's not quite far enough yet. We're going to come out a little bit further. We're going to come out another 2 and 2. Then we're going to get the black wool, and we're going to run the black wool across the front of the orange wool like this. So it's going to come in like that, whoops, like that, and then at the end like that. So we've got, if we come back, we've got a relatively decent sized wing, and you can see from the top it looks quite pretty too. And then we're going to just stick another row of black on the end, 1 and 2, and then here we're going to start to build out the gun turret, because the gun turret is really the most important part. We're going to go up and down like that, so you can see we've got that, because here is where the guns are going to go. We'll come back to that in a minute, because we need to do exactly the same on the other side. So the next bit, you kind of have to use your imagination just a little bit, because to be able to make thin things, as in really thin things, go horizontally in Minecraft, it's a bit of a nightmare, because the number of blocks you've got available to you is not that many. So we've got to use cobble wool. Now, I wouldn't normally use cobble wool for something like this, but we've got very little choice. So we're coming out with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bits of cobble wool. We're then going to get the grey clay again, stick it on the end, and then we're going to get the cobble wool again and stick 1 on the end of that. So it kind of builds out a long kind of shooty, gunny thing. It's not fabulous because the textures are not quite right, but you know, what can we do? We've got Minecraft, that's all we can do. So then build out a duplicate on that side underneath, because each X bit has got a gun like that, and then we're going to just repeat that on the other side, like that. So we've got 2 guns coming out from each wing, just like that. So you imagine you've got your X-foils are not in attack position right here. They are not in attack position. I repeat, Red Commander, they are not in attack position. They are just coasting at this time. So now we need to do the backs of the engines. The actual engines themselves are going to taper ever so slightly. So we need to come in and just bring these engines in one. If you want to avoid getting any kind of mobs spawning inside, of course you can stick just a little bit of glowstone in there just to stop any mobs from spawning inside. And then we're going to come out one like that, and we're just going to follow around the inside edge of the engine. So as we've got it coming up, one there. Oh, I'm concentrating. It's so difficult to see this black. Black is not the best block to be using in Minecraft. What are you doing, Poe? Seriously, what are you doing? What is it with the black stuff? Please just use, next time do it in green or something. That would be really great. So come here, and we're going to come up and around, up and around. It's so difficult to see. There we go, and around. There, no, can't see it, can't see it. Down and across, down and down. I think that bit doesn't go there. So, oh, not quite done it right. So there we go. So we've got that bit there, that bit there. So that and that can then come out. So we've got it stepped on that side and stepped on that side. I've not missed any bits there either, have I? No, I have not. That looks okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put in the engine tops on the top. So these engine tops, again, they're still in black, but they're going to come out 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. 1, 2, like that. And then we're going to do exactly the same on the bottom. We're going to come out from the bottom 1, 1. I'm going to come out 1, 2, 3, 4. And on this side again, come down 1 on the end one, if you can see it, which you can't very well. And then come out 1, 2, 3, and 4. You should be able to see if I come out on this side, we've got 2 engine blocks looking a little bit like that. And then we get some red stained glass, because this is kind of the burst of fire that's coming out of these engine blocks like that. And this side like that. So we've got fire, kind of like a red hazy fire, because if you look at the picture, it's like a red hazy fire coming out of these engines. And then all we need to do is, again, I reckon we should glowstone this up. I wasn't going to, but I'm going to do it. Let's put glowstone in that square there. It just makes for a nice colour, doesn't it? So now I can see that I've not quite done this bit right, have I? Oh my goodness, that was a complete fail. Up there and there. And also there. There we go. Have I more or less done that? I reckon that is about right. If it's not completely right, it is about right. So we've got the engine blocks there for the back of the engines, and all that leaves us to do is to create a little bit more at the back of the X-Wing itself in a nice kind of shape like that. So you can't really see it very well, but you can if you come at it from the top, and it builds just kind of a tapered edge to the back of the X-Wing. So then if we come across this side, you can kind of see the very nearly complete X-Wing that's, I don't know, I think it's looking kind of good, to be honest. And there it is, the completed X-Wing. Poe is going to be flying through the skies, waiting to blast some nasties out of the air in his X-Wing. Nice black with orange trim. It's looking really, really kind of cool with the shaders on. I quite like this with the shaders. Normally this shader pack I'm not so keen on, but this one looks pretty good. Let me know what you think about this one in the comments. So I've taken off the shader pack just so you can see what it looks like in default texture. I think it still looks pretty good. I wonder what it would be maybe with different black cubes. Maybe you could use concrete, maybe you could use coal, you could use all kinds of different things here to be able to design this particular X-Wing. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video, please do make sure you slap that like button all over the place, and if you haven't done it already, please do make sure you hit that subscribe button. It'd be great to see you in my sub club, and I look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.